A video was posted in one of the Facebook groups asking if anybody knew what the noise was, so check that out here.
What can this sound on my MK7 GTI be? Gets louder after 2,000 to 3,000 RPM. I floored it, and a little bit after it started making this sound.
Okay, so first, noises are something that we get a lot of questions about. Noises are very, very difficult to identify based on a video, because when you're diagnosing an engine noise, you're going to be listening for where specifically it's coming from. With a video, you can't really hear where a noise is coming from specifically. So it's really hard to do that. But I had a thought about this because this noise sounded kind of specific, and it sounded like it was potentially internal engine component. So the only thing that my gut told me on this particular one is that it's something internally inside the valve cover of the engine. I've heard of things like this happening, something similar to this, or noises kind of like this that would be rocker arm related. So I've heard about people blowing out rocker arms. Usually I've seen it happen under over-rev circumstances, but it could happen under other circumstances as well. And unfortunately, the only way you're going to identify if it's a rocker arm, first you're going to be listening to if it's coming from the valve cover itself. If you're hearing it inside the valve cover, which on that car, the valve cover is the cam cradle. So taking that off is not something I would recommend for everybody, but that's something that you can identify. Now you could pull off the PCV valve and see if you can see inside of it if you do think it is coming from inside of there. Usually the easiest way with a noise to diagnose it is you can take a screwdriver, like a long screwdriver, and put it up to your ear, and then put it on different parts of the engine to see, and you can hear the noise more come through the metal of a screwdriver. That will help you diagnose where the noise is coming from better. So you can move it from component to component all around the engine, move it to different metal things, see if you can identify where the noise is coming from. That will help you pinpoint what's going on. Again, if it's coming from the valve cover, then you can pull off the PCV valve, identify if you see a rocker arm loose inside of there. If that's the case, you know you got some serious issues. I don't recommend this for everybody, but that is a way to diagnose that. The other thing, that if you have a noise that it sounded like a clicking noise inside the engine itself, there's not a lot of things that would do that unless maybe you just had a piece of metal jumping around inside of there, like a screw or something that was loose. They're just jumping around on metal inside the engine bay. Not likely. Possible. Also could be serpentine belt related, because it was definitely spinning with the engine. I don't think that was the case based on what I heard, but again, you have to figure out where the noise is coming from and then dig deeper into that specific area, which is why you kind of need to know what components are in the area that you're looking at to identify where the noise is coming from or what components could cause that noise. If you do have a rocker arm issue, hopefully it just popped out and you can replace it. There's circumstances that happen that I've heard of rocker arms popping out and then turning sideways and getting ejected through the valve cover. You know, stuff like that happens. So anytime you have something like that happen, I would not continue to run the engine for a long time. Try to figure out where it's coming from as quickly as possible. If you don't know, if this is above your skill set, I would say drive it and or tow it somewhere. The faults he had were a little weird to me, because they were throttle correlation faults is the only fault he said he had. I don't think that that's going to be related to this noise, but it could be. That also could be something that if you've recently been in messing with boost pipes and you unplug something, knock something, whatever, maybe that noise is around something that you recently touched. So again, finding out where the noise is and then tracking down a specific area to figure out where it's coming from, and then go from there. So hopefully that helps, and good luck solving your problem.